Greetings. I'm James Taylor, Director for Student Services for the Metropolitan School District of Warren Township, located in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am your moderator for today's session. We just have a few housekeeping rules before we start. Remember, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box and we will get to as many of those questions as we can by the end of the session. Also, please remember, now this is very important, please complete your session survey. Toward the end of the session, there will be a link in your chat box that will connect you with the survey. Now, with no further ado, I would like to introduce to you our speaker for today's session. Dennis Jarrett is the current Director of Media and Community Relations for the MSD of Warren Township, located in Indianapolis, Indiana. He is also the production manager for the Front Runner Media, founder and president of the Next Generation Initiative, and the advanced media instructor at the Walker Career Center. Dennis is a 30-year veteran of the television and broadcasting networks, media production, broadcast news, digital content creation industries. He is the author of 2 books, The Leadership Connection and The Student Athlete Playbook, How to Be a Champion in Sports and in Life. He and his wife, Pam, of over 30 years, have 5 beautiful children who are all grown, and they reside on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Now, without any further ado, I introduce to you Mr. Dennis Jarrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter.
To your union and the hope that you provide, may you always be satisfied.
This is Hamilton.
Well, welcome everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us for this session of You, Video, and the Virtual Classroom. As you saw, I don't know how many of you guys got a chance to, over the last couple of weeks, check out Hamilton. A great example of how history and learning can be wrapped in a contemporary package to educate those who watch it. I would probably wager that most of us know more about Alexander Hamilton now by virtue of this play than we've ever had by what we've read. So, and what was so great that when they took Hamilton to video, it allowed access to millions more people who did not have an opportunity or could not go to see it on the stage in New York, on Broadway, or needless to say, afford those, those hefty Broadway play tickets. So what video did was provide access. So we're going to talk today about You, Video, and the Virtual Classroom. Before I get started, let me just first of all thank Tanya Bell and her fantastic staff over at the IBE for putting on this workshop, this education workshop, and how timely for this workshop to happen now at a time when there's more questions than answers when it comes to how we are going to deliver educational content in the e-learning virtual classroom. So today we're going to talk about that. Before I get started here, I want to make sure that you guys know that I want to also thank Mr. James Taylor for that tremendous introduction. And James will be back at the end of the session for Q&A. And I want to make sure that you note, please place your questions in the Q&A box and not the chat. Place your questions in the Q&A, on the Q&A button, and James will come back later as we go through that Q&A session. But again, hey, thank you for joining in. We want this to be fun. We want this to be relaxing. We want you to get some takeaways that you can take into your classroom and also know how to use video as a crucial role in helping you deliver your content in your subject matter. So again, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. I want to be I know we have a short time together, and I want to be very clear on to be intentional about what we want to accomplish here. First of all, I know there's a lot of questions about virtual platforms, and we're not going to really be discussing the platforms in this session because your district has made a decision whether you're going to be Google Classroom, Blackboard, Canvas, or any of the other platforms. So we're not going to be talking about specific platforms. We're going to leave that to your district personnel to deliver that information. Also, when it comes to video, there is a tremendous amount of resources. There's all kinds of resources. We're going to touch on but a few of them in our session today, but please note, if you have any questions about resources, I will give you my email address and you can email me and I can help you through any questions about resources that you might have. But what are we going to do today? What we are going to do is talk about the why, the what, and the how in relation to using video in the virtual classroom. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're not going to deep dive into those other things, but we're going to be talking about the role that video can play in helping you deliver your content to your students in the classroom, okay? So if you're ready, it's going to be fast-paced, but relax. We're going to have some fun. Let's get right into it, okay? Let's start with the what. The first thing is what video can do for you. You're going to hear me constantly throughout this message talk about engagement, because we know that learning starts with engagements. Students have to be engaged if they're going to really to learn the content that you're going to deliver to them. So engagement is going to be a crucial part of what we do. And here's the good thing. Video is ready-made for engaging students. So video can help you engage your students in the classroom. It also will be able to enhance your communication. And we're going to talk about some specific communication type techniques that you're going to be able to use that in your classroom, okay? So enhancing we're also going to talk about how you can collaborate with other teachers. We don't want you to think that you're going to be alone in how you're going to be able to utilize video in your classroom. So there's going to be opportunities for collaboration. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you're going to be able to effectively use what you produce. And I know right now you have a lot of questions about how you're going to use video, in what way I'm going to use video, even why is video even important. Trust me, we're going to get to all of those things. And my job today is to convince you, if you need convincing. I'm sure some of you are already using video as a part of what you do in your content delivery for your subject matter. But my job today is convince you that video can play a crucial role, especially as we're going into this virtual environment, okay? Here's a very, very key part of what video can do. And this is crucial for any type of learning that takes place. We want to be able to connect our subject matter to real world applications. And that's when what we teach comes alive. We're going to show you how video can play a part of making that subject come alive for your students to, again, facilitate engagement and learning, okay? And contrary to what most people think initially about video, that it's this time-consuming process, we're going to talk today about how you can actually save valuable time by using video. I got a couple things I share that I know you're going to lock into, and you're going to want to use video because it's going to save you a lot of time on your part in far as your teaching and delivery of your content. So that's the what of video, okay? So what I want to do is set the stage here, everybody. We know as educators, and I'm an educator, you guys are educators, that the script has been flipped on us, to use a term that I use all the time. The script has been flipped. In-person classroom is still going on, but now we have this added model of the virtual classroom, e-learning, and it seems like almost overnight it has been thrust upon us. And let's make no bones about it, everybody. Virtual instruction is not going away. We're not going to talk it away. We can't bargain it away. So what we have to do during this unprecedented time as we go through this pandemic is to understand, how do we harness the power of the virtual classroom to, again, we're not getting away from the mission of educating our young people, but we're going to look at how we can utilize video in the virtual classroom experience, okay? That's our new reality, everyone. It's our new reality, and it's not just us. Everyone is facing this, from corporations to the medical field. Everyone is looking at how they're going to function in this post-COVID environment. But as educators, here's what I want us to really think about, that let's look at virtual as an opportunity, okay? It represents an opportunity for us as educators to define what this new normal learning process is going to look like, okay? So I was saying that we're thinking the virtual environment is changing everything, but if you really think about it, what has changed? The students have not changed. The teachers, us teachers, we haven't changed. Our subject matter or content has not necessarily changed. The only thing that has changed is the delivery process, how we get our instruction to the student. That's really the only thing that has changed, okay? So what we're going to do is, and what we have historically done as educators, we want to harness the best parts of this new normal to ensure that we are sufficiently educating our next generation. We're not here to debate the positive or negative sides of virtual learning, because I'm sure we all have our opinions on that, right? But what we want to do is we want to show how video can play an important part of our ability as teachers to deliver content to our students. So let's start with the why. This is one of the most important aspects of what we're going to talk about today. The why. Why video? And what I need you to do is to understand what's important is that you have a personal why. Why the video? Because I truly believe that to embrace the potential of video and to utilize it effectively, it starts with us understanding our why. Why are we going to do it? Why are we making video? Are we making it for the wrong reasons? Are we making it in the wrong way? Are we using it at the wrong time? It's very important for us to know the why of video. And the reason is if we don't know the why, video just becomes a filler. It becomes something that we show the kids when we get to the end of a learning component. We show video when there's a substitute teacher. We use video as a filler. But what I want to convey today is that video could be an enormously key part of your content delivery. So, okay, here's what I want you to do. If you have a little scratch paper, if you have a pen, if you have a phone, whatever you have, what I want you to do right now, I want everyone to take a few minutes just to write down why you would use video in your classroom. So let's take a couple of minutes, no more than 2 minutes, to write down the why you would use video in your classroom. This is a time where I would probably ask James Taylor to come and sing a little interlude for us, but we won't do that today. But as you're writing these things down, just think about why you would use video in your classroom to deliver your content. Okay, you're going to be able to add on to that as we go on. And as a matter of fact, I encourage you to, as we spend the rest of our time together during this session, that you will, as you think about a why, or as we touch on a point that convinces you why you should use video, write that down. Let's make your list of why, so that can give you some direction in how you're going to be using video in your virtual classroom. So again, so why video? First of all, video is pervasive throughout our society. It's just a way of life. Think about it. It's all around us. It's how we learn to fix things. How many of us have gone onto YouTube, and I know I have gone onto YouTube to find out how to do something around the house? How many of us, when we want to buy something, we hit the internet and look at a video? How many of us, when we're in the housing market to buy a new home, we go out first and we can check out a video tour of that house even before we step foot in that house? And needless to say, video is still a huge part of our entertainment. It's used in corporate settings, and even now, it's used in the delivery of our medical care. Doctors and hospitals are using video to communicate with their patients. So video is all around us. And again, it's not just for entertainment anymore. I guess it would be the line that I'm using. So we as educators have to tap into this tremendous resource and use it for our own purpose. Okay, so let's talk about why video. I'm gonna put up several points to kind of say, okay, why video? And these points are not things that I just came up with out of my mind. These are actual documented attributes of the effectiveness of video. So let's look at these real quick, okay? The benefits of using video: it promotes a better immersive learning experience. It creates a connection experience, okay? So again, think about it. When we watch the play Hamilton, we get connected to that story. And again, like I said earlier, I probably know more about Alexander Hamilton now after watching that play than I ever had during any type of reading that I've done. But that video that I looked at, it created a connection experience. That's another benefit. And notwithstanding, video makes things easier to understand and to remember. A crucial point as far as, because we are in the content delivery business as educators, and we want our students to understand and we want them to remember. Video helps do that. It also offers teachers the flexibility in delivering content. So if you haven't thought about this before, think about it now. Instead of you just standing in front of your class, even in a virtual environment, think about all the flexibility that you have with video to deliver your subject matter. It's an enormous, it's really as far and as much as you can think, as far as outside the box, to actually create these videos that, again, stay consistent with your subject matter. Here's a big one. Video is readily accepted by students. I'm a parent. Most of you are probably parents. And if you are a parent, you know that that phone is something that stays in these kids' hands all the time. And statistics show that most of what they are consuming on those cell phone devices is what? Video. Video is king in this new digital space and is readily accepted by students. Also, again, there's that word again, it offers a powerful way to engage students. That's another benefit, and it can save you time. The benefit of video that it can save plenty of time. I'm going to point that out here as in our next portion to say, okay, how does video save me time? I gotta plan it out. I gotta capture it on video. I gotta put it together. How in the world does that save me time? Hold on, I have an answer for that, okay? So what can you do with video, okay? What can you do with video? These are some practical things that I want you to think about as I put them up, and really think about how these things fit into your classroom experience. You can use video to introduce and review course content. In other words, think about it. You're introducing a new portion or component of your curriculum, and you can create a video. You can create a video to do that. This is a biggie for me. And as a teacher, we would love it if we had 100% attendance. But how many of us know that we're starting a new subject? We do the preview with the students, and we tell them everything that's going to be covered in this module, but yet you have 3 kids that are absent that day. So what do you have to do when they come back the next day? Teacher, what did you cover yesterday? And what do you have to do? You're going back over the same thing you covered the day before. Well, in the virtual environment with video, you have to do one thing. You say, oh, the video was posted up in whatever platform, let's just say Google Classroom for our talking point now. Go out on Google Classroom, and now that student has access to that information, and they can do that, and you have the ability now to go on and do something else. So providing access to students who miss class is a critical part of how you can use video. Another critical part is it allows students to review content. You have in your classroom students that may not get it the first time you present it, and they may need a refresher. They may need to review that. Now, if you have a video posted, they can review that over and over and over again until they get it. And isn't that the goal of what we're doing? We want our kids to get it. We want them to understand the information. Video can play a crucial part in doing that for you. Video can also promote the student creativity and the application of content. We always want, and that's in the especially in the virtual space, you want them to be engaged, but you also want to be able to check for understanding. So think outside the box, give them, once you go through a particular subject, why not make an assignment, a video assignment for them that they can do, and they can post it up on your platform that you can then look at that. It's just, again, this won't fit every teacher, but this does give you an opportunity to promote creativity and the application of your content to your students. And bigger than anything else, what video can do, it meets the needs of the visual learner. Statistics show that 65% of us are visual learners. That's more than 6 out of every 10 students in your class. So even in our audience today, statistics say in our audience today that over 60% of us are visual learners. Video is well suited to meet the needs of that type of learner. Okay, I want to show you a short video that puts in practice what I'm talking about. And this is a demonstration video. This is a portion of a video that I would share with my video students. Of course, you can apply it to whatever subject you teach, but check it out and see how easy it is to do an informative demonstration video. Okay, let me show you now how video can be used to demonstrate. Now, in my class, I would be demonstrating to students something along the lines of how to set up a tripod. Something as simple as that. So the key thing about a tripod, I would tell them, is that you want to set up the bottom legs first, okay? So as you adjust, you want to set up the bottom legs first, get those bottom legs set, because now when you put the camera on, you can adjust the top to how you want your tripod to be. Remember, you want to make, I always tell my students, you want to use that tripod, because if you don't, your video is going to be all shaky, just like that. You don't want that. So video gives me an opportunity to demonstrate these things to them, and you can use a simple cell phone video to demonstrate some of the content you're going to deliver in your classroom. Okay, there you have it. A very simple way to demonstrate an aspect of your class. Now, again, your subject matter is going to be a little different, but you can still apply that to whatever subject. Just take a portion of what your subject is and demonstrate it. That's going to, again, foster engagement. It definitely helps them to better understand, and then also for them to remember. So again, that's the what of video. And what we want to talk about now, and I know I'm trying to get through this everything. I mean, there's so much to cover, and I want to try to make sure that I get through as much as I possibly can. But this next portion is one of the most important, and that is really the how. How? And I saved that step for last because that's the step that prevents from most people from even thinking about using video as a part of their classroom content delivery, and that is the how. So let's talk about, first of all, on the how, let's recognize those are two words that, again, now I have been advocating for video in the classroom for over 20 years now as an educator. I believe that video has a firm place in the education process. It's not the total answer, but it can be part of the solution. But I hear this all the time. I object. The objection to video is really on 3 levels. Number one, I don't have the skills. I'm a math teacher. I'm a science teacher. I'm not a videographer. But hold on, we're going to show you how you can, in very simple way, with some simple tools, which we're going to get to, create meaningful, informative, and yes, engaging videos. So we'll dispel that objection right there that you don't have the skills. I'm saying that you do. Now, what we're not saying is, we're not saying that you're going to have to create something on the level of Hamilton. We're not telling you that you're going to have to be a Steven Spielberg or Spike Lee. One of the key points of delivering content is that, number one, it should reflect who you are and your personality. Number two, it should fit in line with your teaching style. For instance, your videos don't have to be funny, unless, of course, you're a funny person. If you're a funny person, your video should be funny. But if your video does not have to be like someone else's. As a matter of fact, I stand firmly in the fact that your video should be uniquely representative of who you are. And what I'm talking about there is your original videos, the ones that you create. There is also a vast resource, and I totally encourage you that a lot of times you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There is a vast amount of videos readily available for you to use in your classroom. But today we're talking about videos that you would create, okay? I object. The next objection is, I don't have time. And that is vital. And that is valid also, in the fact that there's so much that's demanded of us as educators. Why in the world would I go add more to my plate by producing these videos? But hold on for a second. I submit to you that in some cases, video in the long run will save you time, as we talked about earlier, especially when you talk about having to answer questions about, teacher, what did we do yesterday? What's expected of me? Can you explain that again to me, teacher? That's where video is going to help save you time. So, and then the last one, I don't have any interest. Well, that's what that why list is about. So refer back to your why list. If you don't have anything on it, hopefully by now you have been able to think about something and some way that you can use video in your classroom, and you are expanding that why video list. So I want to convince you that you should be interested in using video in some capacity. Again, keep in mind, it's not the total answer. You shouldn't use video every day, all day. In other words, sit your kids down and watch a video. That's not what we're saying. We're saying be intentional, be strategic in how you employ video in your classroom. Now let's talk about, I'm going to show you a video, and then after this video, I'm going to really go over just what tools you can use to create a very, very good video. Let's check this out here.
Okay, for instance, with your cell phone video, you can take your students places they have never been. For instance, here at the Fort Harrison State Park, over 1,700 acres of walking and jogging trails, picnicking, canoeing, sledding in the winter. There's also a dog park, there's horseback riding, just a myriad of things. Fort Harrison State Park is one of those hidden gems that most of your students have never gone to before, and now you can take them there.
You can take them there. We talked about demonstration. Now we're talking about actually exposing your students to, and again, I want to make sure you know that the videos I'm showing you are just examples. You want to make sure your videos are crafted to reflect your subject matter. But what I want to focus on now is two things here. Number one, how much time did it take to do that video? It took about at most 15 minutes to do the video. What I did, I went out online, Google, and I researched Fort Harrison State Park. Got some information about the park. Then, okay, so that was the time. That's what I did in the planning. Then I got in the car, drove to Fort Harrison State Park, which is close to my house. It just happened to be close to my house. And it took 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes to actually complete this video. Loaded it on my computer, bam. Matter of fact, I airdropped it from my cell phone to my MacBook laptop, ready to go. It was that easy, and it did not take a whole lot of time. Now, I know you should be saying, well, if you're on the video, who's actually taking the video? That's where I drafted my son. So my son, and if you have children or your spouse, they can be your camera person. And all he is using is a cell phone. He's using my cell phone. So to do this video. Now you can get more elaborate, no question about that. There's so many different types of cameras. There's so many different type of accessories that you can use to enhance, and I encourage that. But what I'm talking about today is just baseline, how to get started and you can do some creative, very nice videos with your cell phone. So again, that's what I want you to know. There are also other resources that are at your available. Now, when I thought about doing this workshop and I looked at how much time we had, I was convinced that there was not enough time to go through just all the different types of cameras, the editing software, all of the resources that are out there. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do justice by going through them all. So again, I can supply you with some information if you email me with some specific questions about some specific resources. I'm willing to do that. But I did want to highlight 3 of the major ones that I use in addition to everything else. Number one, because what we're talking about is how are you going to increase your skills and in using video, in using your cell phone. And I want to encourage you that you could do 90% of the videos that you create just on your cell phone. Cell phones have gotten incredible. The quality is incredible. The easiness of use has gotten just tremendous. It is just a great, and we all have one. We all have one. We have a cell phone. I'm going to show you in a minute the best ways to use a cell phone to get the type of quality videos you want. I'll do that in a second, but first of all, let me tell you about a couple of these resources. Number one, Google. I even tell my students in class, there's no reason for you to not know anything almost, because I can find almost everything I need on Google. So when I'm editing or I'm creating a project and I get stuck on a technical thing, all I have to do is Google it. I can Google it, how to clean up audio in Adobe Premiere Pro. I put that in, and what comes up? Boom, YouTube. All types of videos will come up to show me just how to do that. So I encourage you, if you're hesitant or not just hesitant about using video, if you want to increase your skill level using video, YouTube is a great resource. Okay, so now back to the cell phone, okay? The cell phone, number one, when you're using that cell phone, and my time is fleeting, so I'm gonna speed things up. When you use the cell phone, always when you're shooting video, unless you're going to Instagram is the only time where you should be doing your video this way. when you're using video that you're going to put up on your platform and you want it to fill the screen of the person that's viewing it, horizontal is where you want to go, or landscape. Landscape is how you want to shoot your video, okay? So remember that. Also, you don't want to move around a lot. You know, again, that makes people seasick. Just, you know, settle on your shot, get it lined up, record it, stop, and then go to the next shot, okay? That's what you want to do with your cell phone. Not a lot of movement, nice steady shots, unless there's a reason. Matter of fact, if you're walking through, let's say if I was walking through the Fort Benjamin State Park and I want to show the people what I'm seeing, then I want to be able to keep moving with the video. Otherwise, you want to be nice, solid. Okay, so you have the video shot on your cell phone. It's nice, you like it, but you want to add some graphics, some sound effects, some music, all of these things. If I recommend one of the best cell phone applications, and it's free, it's called InShot. You can see it down there on the left. InShot, it's for Android and iPhones, and it is one of the best editing softwares for cell phones out there. And not only that, it takes you step by step how to use it. And with a little bit of time, and I'm talking about minimum time, and I think it took me less than an hour to grasp it. So it's really, really good. So that's a resource there, okay? So those are the resources. I want to talk to you right now real quick, and I have a few more minutes about the process of creating videos, because I want to go through that before we leave. And there's 3 phases. There's pre-production, and that's where you plan everything out. You want to make sure you go into all of your videos with a stated outcome. What do you want this video to do? That's a part of your plan in the beginning. The next part is the production process. That's when you actually go out and shoot it. And then the last phase of it is what's called post-production, and that's editing. So you're going to plan it, you're going to shoot it, you're going to edit it, and then it's ready to put out there. Follow those steps, use the InShot apps, and you will be you'll be on your way. Let me show you a video. Don't laugh, because of, you know, they make us wear those bicycle helmets, and I guess for our safety we have to do. But I always say, man, they never have a cool looking bike helmet. But anyway, I digress. Here's a video just to show how you can make your creation of videos just a part of what you do all the time. Check this out.
Okay, I got an idea for you. Next time you're out on that bike ride, why not review a lesson? All you have to do is start the recording on your cell phone and review the lesson. You can go over assignments for the upcoming weekend. While you're at it, why not take the opportunity to encourage your students to get some physical exercise in? If biking is not your thing, you can do a video while you're gardening, practicing that golf swing in the backyard. It doesn't matter. Just remember, the video should reflect your personality and your teaching style. Hey, we'll see you down the road.
And again, the video should reflect your personality and your teaching style. Very important. But that was a video that I did on, while I was doing my bike ride. And you can do that. Be creative. Think outside the box. Your video does not have to be like someone else's. Let it be a part of your lifestyle. And not only that, maybe, just maybe, your students would be interested in knowing that you are, in fact, a real human being. All right? So, again, I want to leave time for questions. I'm going to kick it back over to James in a minute here, but I definitely want to, go through a few takeaways for today. Now, remember, build that why list. If you don't have a why, then chances are you're going to miss the chance to do some great things with video by not having a why. So just remember, what are our takeaways? The virtual classroom is not an obstacle. We can't allow ourselves to think about teaching virtually as an obstacle. We must see it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Video can play a crucial role in enhancing the learning experience for both teacher and student. Okay, very important that you understand that. The production of informative, interesting content is not a mystery. You can do it, and I encourage you to start. There is a tremendous amount of resources available to help you increase your video skill level, including already created videos. And we touched upon that earlier. Don't feel as though you have to reinvent the wheel. There is a plethora of videos out there already produced that you can use. But again, just make sure that they reflect your style, your teaching style, and your content area, okay? And the last one, just remember, you are not alone in this virtual environment. Together, we can help each other succeed. So reach out to fellow teachers. Find out who's using video. Find out who's using it effectively. And if you have to, copy what they're doing until you develop a style of your own. And with that, I thank you all for your attentiveness, and hopefully something was shared that's going to enable you to be empowered to use video in your virtual classroom. James, I turn it back over to you.
Man, Dennis, thank you so much. I want to give you a round of applause. I had so many comments coming in about how they love the content. They love the video content. Hey, it was an amazing workshop. So for those of you just tuning in, but for those of you who tuned in earlier, I did a wardrobe change. I had on a black shirt at first. Now I got on a greenish shirt. So let's get to the questions, Dennis. I had a couple of questions from the back. Somebody emailed me and said, I struggle with my iPhone. Now, in class, I have to prepare all of these lessons for class. How do you propose that I fit in video lessons while preparing the standard lessons?
Very good question, James, and a very quick, easy answer is that if you can think in terms of this, that what you're preparing, just record it, just put it on video, just what you can, in other words, if you're going to do a lesson in front of a class, why not a portion of that, record it, and not only that, demonstrate what it is that you're talking about, and it's very easy. Now, here's a couple of different tips, Jane. I would say if you have a child in your home, usually that child knows that iPhone up and down. Let them be your camera person, okay? Or there's all types of tripods and different stabilizing devices that you can purchase, pretty inexpensive, and you just set it up on a wide shot as you deliver your content. But not knowing how to use because really with the iPhone, all it does is you set your shot up and you hit one button, the record button, and you're ready to go.
Awesome, Dennis. So I got another question for you. How can you make a video including PowerPoints and voiceovers?
Okay, good question. How can you make a video using, the question is, how can you make a video using PowerPoint and voiceovers? That's where InShot comes in. There's app. Now, if you're doing it on your phone, you can use the application called InShot. But if you're doing it on your computer, this is what you have to do. You're going to go into PowerPoint, okay? You're going to have the PowerPoint, so you have those slides there, and then you're going to import a video that you shot, and that's what I did on my PowerPoint. I shot the video on my phone, and I simply airdropped it to my computer, and then put it into PowerPoint, okay? You're going to put that into PowerPoint, and now when you play PowerPoint, it's going to play not only your slides, but it's going to play your video. Does that make sense?
Awesome. So this is from an anonymous attendee. Do you have a favorite screen capturing tool when you want to make a video where you talk about something on your computer? Let me read that again. Do you have a favorite screen capturing tool when you want to make a video where you talk about something on your computer? I think the teacher's saying, you know, they're on their computer, they're talking about something on their computer. How can you do that?
Okay, the screen capturing tool. Now, I'm always going to be perfectly honest. I don't do a lot of screen capturing because I'm in the video space, and everything we do, we originated ourselves. So I am not that versed on the various screen capturing devices. I'll be perfectly honest. But I am willing, if that person wants to email me, I can find an answer and get back with them. I will say that.
Awesome, awesome. And by the way, my shirt is green. It just may look a little different to you. Somebody had a comment about that. Here's another question. How do you work with, it took my question away here. How do you work with kids K through 2 in a virtual sense who are affected by COVID and they really don't have technology? That's a good one.
That is a very good one. And I wish I had an answer for that, because that's a district level inquiry really for their tech. Now, I know a lot of districts such as Warren Township, we are providing hotspots for our families, for them to be able to connect. And you're right, the first crucial part is, in this virtual experience, the kids have to be able to connect. But I would say when you talk about the age, is make sure that all of the content is age directed. In other words, make it where it fits the age group of the students that you have in your classroom. In other words, let me take the example of the Fort Harrison State Park. If I was teaching second graders, let's just say that group, you know, I would not have stood up there and just did what we call a stand-up talking about Fort Harrison State Park. I would go and find the turtles. I would go and find something in that park that's directed at that age group and show them that. So to sum up the answer, just make sure that whatever you put out in video is consistent with the age of your students.
Dennis, you had some great references. You referenced I'll Take You There with the Staple Singers. I'll take you there. Your camera will take you anywhere. You also referenced the great James Taylor. I just want to let you know that. You got a friend, baby. So let me ask you this question. Somebody asked this question. They said, do I need an expensive cell phone? Can I just roll with my Cricket or my Boost Mobile and do the same thing that you're doing?
Okay, very good question. Now, yeah, you can roll with the Cricket, you can roll with the Boost, but here's where the issue is. What type of applications or resources are available to support those phones? Meaning, is there editing apps that support those phones? Really, if you have a nice camera, you can roll with whatever camera. If you have a camera with a phone, you're ready to roll. I mean, I'm sorry, somebody should correct me. If you have a phone with a camera, you are ready to roll. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what it is, because you're going to export that out of your camera and put it on your computer.
All right, here's a good one. How do you upload your videos to a learning management system such as Blackboard or Canvas or Google Classrooms?
Okay, all right, good question also. And I don't want to get too down in the weeds as far as from the technical, but here's the simple process. You shoot the video on your phone. It's going to be what's called an MOV file. Okay, you're going to, in my case, you can send it to yourself via email. What I did was I just simply airdropped it right to my computer. Once I had got that video into my computer, I put it into what's called Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, there's what's called the Adobe Creative Suite, great educational prices, and it's not very complicated, but you then convert that video once you edit it. Take out, editing simply means take out what you don't want, just keep what you want. That's all editing is. And so you're going to convert that to what is called an MP4 file. And once you convert it to, that is, well, the, MP4, that is a compressed file that now you can put up on your platform. That's very important. Space on is always very important. Video are generally large files. That's why they need to be compressed. So just remember, whenever you're trying to upload a video, it should have the extension of MP4. MP4, that is the standard compressed files for uploading video content.
So Dennis, with 2 or 3 people asked the question, how did you create that magic, that countdown that you had at the beginning of your video? Where did you get that from?
Okay, now you guys have just delved into my secrets there. Because the fact is, I didn't create it. I got it off YouTube.
That's what I told somebody.
And again, all I did was Googled, video countdowns, and a slew of different choices came up. I chose the one that I felt was dramatic for what we were doing. Boom. In 3 minutes, I had a countdown rather than creating it from scratch.
Awesome. I want to say,
don't tell anybody my secret though.
Okay, I told him we couldn't tell him it was a secret. So make sure you work on your, in the chat box, the surveys. Some people said they're having problems with that. So if we can kind of handle that before people leave, we got about 10 more minutes. We're going to take some more questions also. Dennis, I had a teacher write, I'm afraid of cameras. I'm afraid of being in front of the camera. But when I do an assignment, should I put myself in front of the camera sometimes because I really want to engage my kids? And if I'm in front of the camera, I think that they'll find some enjoyment out of that. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I totally agree on the fact that, number one, when you put yourself on the camera, you become a star to your students. That's just the power of video. Anyone on video, you become a star. And not only that, they can see your humanity. I would simply say most people with the apprehension of being on video is from the fact of thinking that they're going to make a mistake. People are apprehensive. But here's the thing, when you're recording yourself, it doesn't matter if it takes you 5 times, 10 times, you're only going to show the best one. No one's going to see the mistakes. No one's going to see, for instance, the video I did at the Fort Harrison State Park, I messed up the first take, but I wouldn't show that. Only thing you saw was the good take. But I do want to address that though, because there is this unnatural feeling about being in front of an inanimate object like a camera that makes people apprehensive. I would say just practice. Practice just being, again, you can go out in your backyard, set the camera up and just practice until you feel comfortable. I think if you give yourself a chance, that you will find that some of the concerns are just that. They are not really concrete. They're just made of fear, apprehension, and those type of things. And I always say this: no one has ever had to give up blood by being on camera. So that's the kind of a thing we do in our business. We say afterwards, check for blood. In other words, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to be on camera. Give it a try, have fun with it, and perfect it. But yes, I do agree, it is very important for your kids to see you on those videos.
Awesome. Here's a good one, Dennis. Stay with me. This is from Rachel. What are some Easter eggs that would appeal to students in our videos? I read somewhere that we can plant eggs in our videos for students to watch for, but what would be your suggestion?
Easter eggs in the video. Hey, James, you're gonna help me. Rachel, please help me out. I've never heard of that before.
I'm thinking that she's saying planting some things in there that kids can look out for or be on the lookout for. How can you put those different surprises in the video?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that's kind of the whole finding the Pokemons, where if you scroll over something, something pops up. That is a whole different set of technology that's needed for that, and that's really outside the scope of what we're talking about today. But I would bet that there is, again, on this fascinating place called Google, there is information on how to do that. I would just say, Rachel, that we've never done that. We've never done those type of videos.
Thank you. I have another question. I have a teacher that says, I teach a class that is not that visual.
Mm-hmm.
How can I use video?
That is a great question. So let me give an example that I always like to give, okay? And math teachers, don't get mad at me, please. But, you know, some would say that math, I don't agree with it. Some would say that math is not a quote unquote visual. So how do you teach, how would you do a video on math? But I would say with a little bit of different thinking, you know what I would do? Why not go to a friend that happens to be a carpenter and just do an interview with him or her talking about how they use math in their profession. So that's a way to do something to, you know, that's a way to make it a real world application with, you know, how many times have we heard this? When I'm learning this math, I'm never going to use it, from students. Well, what if we can take them to someone who's actually using those math principles in their career and vocation and have them talk about it? That's one way to illustrate a quote unquote non-visual subject.
Dennis, can you repeat for the gallery, the Adobe programs for compressing videos to MP4 files?
Okay, yes, okay. The suite is simply called the Adobe Creative Suite. And the Adobe Creative Suite is it's about 8 or 9 different software packages all in this suite, and you can get educational prices. And the editing part of that is called Adobe Premiere Pro. That's where you can go in and edit. Now there's also what's called Adobe Media Encoder, and that's where you can change, I'll just use the word change. That's where you can change a big file and compress it down to a smaller file. But it's all a part of that Adobe suite that has Photoshop in it, InDesign, and a lot of other different things. But what we use in editing is Adobe Premiere Media Encoder primarily.
Awesome, awesome. We have about 10 minutes. I want to remind people to make sure that they, in the chat box, your survey link. Some people said they're having trouble with it. You might want to log out and log back on. If you can do that, if you log out, please come back, fill out the survey. I had a good question that I wanted to read to you, Dennis. It talked about people hearing their own voice and how some people don't like to hear their own voice. So can you comment on that again?
Again, I want to preface what I'm going to say now with the fact that your students hear your voice all the time, and it's very important for them to hear your voice in these videos, okay? It's very important. But also, it doesn't have to just be restricted to you. You can have someone, if you have a spouse or a child or a friend that does have a great voice that you like, why not have them do the voiceover? And that's where in that application, that InShot, I'll say that over again, and well, I don't get any money from InShot because number one, it's a free app, but I would recommend InShot because you can do all of that. You can put your voiceovers and everything in there. And so again, voiceovers is just when you take the voice that someone lays on a track and you put it with your video over your video to tell the story. Okay. So, but I would also say that your voice is probably not as bad as you perceive it to be. So when all possible, use your voice.
Dennis, I know you've covered this already. We got about 10 minutes. I have over 200 questions that people have submitted. And I just want to say, in this time of video, rap and rappers and Black Lives Matter, and how important is imaging? How important is imaging what our kids see? They live in a totally different world than us. So when they all of a sudden see something that they can identify with, how important is that to engaging that kid in the classroom? Because once you get them, you got them.
Exactly.
So speak to that real quick.
Yeah, and again, like you're right, James, and that's what we hit on. It starts with engagement. Let me take you through a process here real quick. It won't take but a minute or so, that if you keep these 4 steps in mind, you're going to create some very, very impactful video. Because keep in mind, you're not creating video just to entertain. That's not it. But you also have to recognize that video is not just it's also an emotional experience too. So you need to recognize that. So here's for everyone, when you're creating a video, if you can do these 4 things with your video, I can almost promise you that you will have an effective video. And I simply call it the AIDA, the AIDA principle. Number 1, attention. The first A is for attention. You have to get their attention right away. So how do you get their attention? You can do something funny. You can do something that startles them. You can give something. You can help them discover something right away. But it's very important, because of the proliferation of videos out there. If you want your video to make an impact, you have to get their attention right away. So that's the A. The I after that is the interest. Once you have their attention, now you want to build interest. And that's where you give them that information, that crucial information that they need, that's going to be interesting. And you got to deliver it in an interesting way. The next part is the D. The D is the desire. Now you want them to desire what you're saying. You want them to want to learn. So once you have their attention, you have them interested, they should have a desire now to learn. And then the last part of this is a crucial part, and that next A is for action. You want them to act in some way, whether it's go review for the test, whether it's go and have some, go out and get some physical exercise in this weekend, but you want them to have an action step. So again, it's called the AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and then action. If you can keep those things in mind and make those things a part of how you formulate your videos, I believe that you're going to have a successful video initiative.
Mr. Jarrett, we want to thank you for giving an outstanding presentation and just informing people on how not to be afraid of their cell phones, basically.
Exactly.
And how to use that technology in class. And I want to thank IBE, Indiana Black Expo, Indiana University, for giving us this platform to reaching all the people in our country and outside of our country. This is the first time that we've opened it up in a virtual manner. And we're not just touching lives here like local children, we're touching people all across the nation. So I'm going to leave 2 or 3 minutes for you to fill out your surveys. You can get this recording by going to YouTube on Indiana Black Expo link. So you can get this recording. A lot of people were saying that they were having some problems connecting and seeing some of the video, but you can watch this, the most exciting presentation of the day. Every presentation was wonderful today, but because you're here with us, you could have been anyplace else. We thank you for being a part of this. And on behalf of Indiana Black Expo, we love you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Thank you, Mr. Jarrett, again.
Thank you, James. And again, thank you, everyone.